Hi, everybody. This is Izumi Tanaka with Home Green Homes. And today I have Mary Love as my guest. I am so honored to have Mary. And Mary Love is a broker in charge for her real estate company, Love the Green, as well as her property management company, Town Mountain Properties. She is also president of Mary Love Consulting Firm. And you are in North Carolina, correct?
Yes, Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville, yay. With a long list of qualifications, Mary has been inspiring, training, and teaching for over 30 years and is affectionately called Grandmother of Green. She presents facts and detailed information with a sense of humor and great passion. Mary's love for nature and humanity has guided her to be one of the top presenters in green building industry. Mary believes that individual actions create massive change when done with purpose and intent. Her motto is a little bit of something is a whole lot better than nothing. Mary combines sustainability consultation skills with realty market knowledge and has created numerous training and marketing programs for realtors, investors and builders, buyers and sellers who want to learn more about added value of high performance homes. Mary has demonstrated that she is the source of knowledge and experience in working with individuals interested in green and sustainable issues and has shown a strong dedication to green building and sustainability industry. Mary sees the world as one big green project, and her passion is helping everyone understand how we are all connected. I really love this. I really resonate with you with this, everything that I just read. So I'm just really excited. I have been relatively new as a green realtor. And although I have always been interested in sustainability, environmental issues, but I have only been licensed for 3 years. So I can actually call you my grandma Mary.
That's right.
I'm a baby. Yes, so thank you. So you've been doing that for so long. You're doing exactly what I have been aspiring to do. But tell me how you got started. 30 years ago, things were quite different, right? From what it is
Very,
now.
very different. I've got to say that my passion for the environment started when I was born, because I was born on a farm
Mhm.
and in a very small town. And I had that whole love of the earth and nature. And part of it because we were in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Mhm.
I also my everybody was related to me. So uh, my relatives, a lot of them were carpenters and builders.
Mhm.
So I had that innate loving the whole idea of you plan something and you create a house.
Mhm.
And so all of that combined together just really is what created, you know, all the pieces to fall together. And I wanted to uh, be an environmental scientist, do something in the environment. But at the time, there wasn't green building. My first environmental job actually was dealing with hazardous waste
Oh.
and recycling.
Mhm.
So I taught a lot. I was a teacher. I wrote a lot of grants, wrote grants for dealing with recycling and organic gardening, that whole process. And then I was living in California and discovered there was a truck that said Energy Star on it. And I thought, wonder what that is. And I just, it was in the parking lot and I just walked over and asked about it. And that was just when the, National Program Energy Star was being started.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started learning about that. And then right at that same time, I was getting ready to we were ready to move, and didn't know where to move. And I just sort of started searching online, and I found that I grew up in Tennessee, so coming back to North Carolina was in the radar, and I found that Western North Carolina had created a green building association.
Wow. This is
Yeah.
when was that?
Like 2000, and it was the end of 2003, end of 2002, beginning of 2003. And so I called him and I said, hey, I would love to come and work for you. And the guy was a volunteer, and he said, well, we've only got like 12 people and we don't have any employees. And I said, well, I want to be your first employee. So we moved to Asheville and attracted the first Energy Star home in Buncombe County.
Wow.
So got to be living in that. That was really a fun thing to do. And I started networking all over Asheville, and actually helped write a grant that funded my position with the Green Building Council.
Wow. You wrote your grant just so you can pay.
Just so I could be their first employee.
That's great.
And on the side of that, there was a certification for the Home Energy Star raters, for HERS raters, was starting along with the Energy Star. So I had taken that certification. Still, there wasn't really green building, as a science yet. There was starting to be more and more certifications. So I was taking all of those certifications and then turning right around and applying them and teaching them. And so we created a certification program for homes in the state of North Carolina that was originally called Healthy Built Homes, and today it's called Green Built NC. And this was before before NAR Green, before any of we were only the second certification program in the nation. There had been one in Georgia called Earthcraft. So my whole job was to convince builders, realtors, buyers, sellers, that this was a good thing to do. And back then, people had sort of the mindset that green homes were, the recycled tire homes, or, cob, something different, not a standard home, And that was part of my job, was to really explain what that was, to explain where for builders, it was really interesting, because with builders sort of had that tendency, well, my papa taught me how to build this way, and I've been building this way forever. And, when they did that science stuff back with that synthetic stucco, that wasn't too good, So I really had to convince them, and also show them that they could save money once they learned how to do advanced framing and the appropriate insulation. So we just started really simple. And over the years, the thing that I like about certification programs is that as code improves, then the level is raised in the certification programs. So we've continued to do that. And then I had the great fortune of working with our Home Builders Association, our Green Building Council, and our Realtors Association, because our area, Western North Carolina, we're fairly small in population. So we were able, it's definitely about working together rather than competition. And I helped create a course that was approved by North Carolina Real Estate Commission for CEs, which we just finally had our contractors require CEs now, and I created a new course for them just last month. So I've just been creating courses. We worked with the city to get rebates for the builders, worked heavily with affordable housing. We have several affordable housing programs, and we created some programs that dealt with helping with the energy efficiency to help affordability. So it's just been this whole long process of constantly, I'm constantly taking classes. I still take classes,
Yeah.
and and constantly creating classes, and just teaching everyone. That's marketing is teaching to me,
Yeah.
and so and then this is the important thing. My passion, is about green building, but I also have to remind everyone that I'm a realtor because they
Right.
forget.
Right. So I was just going to say, at what point did you become a realtor?
So when I was helping create the first class, I decided that in order to really understand what the realtors would need, that I needed to become a realtor and work in their environment to see what they would need.
Right.
So I did that in 2003. And now I had already been involved in real estate investing
Right.
many years. I'd been doing that on my own. And so it was really interesting. The main reason I became a realtor was so I could understand what their needs were.
Right.
And then be able to do a class for them with that. And then I just found out I really enjoyed helping people find their houses and, buying and selling. Yeah.
Right. Right. So all these years, it's basically mostly since 2000s, but you were already involved in the 90s. So what do you think is the biggest progress the industry, the business of green homes has made in these last 20 years or even 30 years?
Definitely that more people recognize the value of green building. We have more people with, now that we have all of the information that we have online, we have more people asking questions, wanting green features, and appreciating the value of them.
And what do you think is the biggest challenge still, if there's any that you recognize?
Oh yeah, not enough people recognize the value.
I love it. Right. Hence what we are doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously I have been trying, for the last 3 years or so, what you have been trying all these years. And what do you think is the most effective term to use? Because I have been, I've been kind of a little bit of hesitant to use the word green so much lately. Um, do you think, I mean, green, eco, healthy, or high performance, what would be, in your experience and observation, what's the most effective and way of conveying the values of green buildings?
So it really depends on your target market, because I do think that there's a difference with the age group on what it meant. If you're working with older clients, referring more to green is very familiar to them because that's what they've heard over the years.
Right.
If you're working with first-time home buyers or younger clients, sustainability, high performance,
Right.
those terms mean. So I use them all. I created my company with Love the Green, years ago. I've kept that. I've thought about changing it over the years, but it just fits for across the board. And we still have, many of the programs are still called green building certification programs.
Yeah.
So I think we have to keep it there. We need to really start putting, especially like if you're doing social media,
Right.
all of those hashtags in
Right.
there. Yeah. And I have started using solar hashtags a whole lot more than I did in the past, just because of the popularity of that.
Right.
Not that I think that's solar's just icing on the cake,
Right, exactly, exactly. I mean, solar is a little bit misunderstood in that I think a lot of the solar companies are offering, a lot of deals, but what I find that I don't hear a lot is, you have to really get the envelope first.
Mhm.
In order to really take advantage of the solar systems. We started my house. I started getting bids for solar, but
Mhm.
they were quoting based on the usage that we have been seeing on our bills, but our bills really didn't represent the accurate usage because we also did the energy audit first, and we found out that we have a lot of air leaks and we have some major lack of insulation. So if we put the solar panel based on this envelope and the usage, it's not going to be accurate, because I always like to tell people that first thing you should do is energy audit, just to make sure that your house is efficient enough already, because just by doing that, you should see the difference in that bill. And then you can put the solar panel. That way, you are accurately calculating what you need. So, it's how in North Carolina, what is the most? Or I guess you don't have to be. Doesn't have to be North Carolina, but what are the most sought features that people would want or think of when you are talking about green homes?
So for new construction,
Mm-hmm.
we definitely, I would say energy efficiency is the number one request.
Sure.
And then number two is indoor air quality.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then number three is water savings,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then the fourth thing that people will talk about is definitely in our area, especially, but all of North Carolina, is the site, the outside, the landscaping,
Mm-hmm.
native landscaping is
Mm-hmm.
very important around here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In Western North Carolina, we have very mountainous area, so
Right.
people are very concerned about drainage and how that
Right.
works with.
Right.
So those are the most common. It's interesting though. I would say for existing homes,
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of inquiries about solar panels for existing homes.
Right. Right.
And so one of the things that I always tell realtors is you don't have to know everything. You just have to know the people who do know.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just be the source of the source, right?
Right.
So I know the companies. If it's I know all of the solar companies that are in our area,
Mm-hmm.
and I know the weatherization companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will always tell them to talk to a weatherization company
Right.
first.
Right.
Yeah, and we in our area we also have a utility company that offers the energy audits.
Right.
I
Oh,
have found.
utility companies send you the auditor?
Mm-hmm,
Oh, wow. I
mm-hmm.
didn't know that.
Well,
Ours
in North,
does.
it's a very simple audit.
Mhm, I see.
They're really only looking at their of the major use of electricity in your
Mhm,
house and how to
mhm,
take care of that.
mhm, mhm.
And of course, insulation, right?
Right.
But they're actually mandated to now because North Carolina is getting rid of coal producing electric plants.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's huge, isn't it?
it is. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned that you have been working with developers, builders, investors. Um, in your opinion or in your observation, do they really see the value when do they actually build green in your area?
We do in our, and I would say that's because we have spent, 20 years marketing the
Right.
value of the green
Mhm.
homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do receive more, a higher value
Right.
because
Right.
so, and our certification levels are tiered.
Mhm.
So I don't think that the builders understand the value of increasing the tier of
Mhm.
that unless
Mhm.
they're competing in the parade of homes where they're showing
Right.
off the houses.
Right.
So certification is incredibly important though.
Right.
And depending on the location, there's certain areas that if your house is not a certified house,
Mm-hmm.
you're just out of place
Oh,
completely. And
wow.
you should expect, to not get top debt, but
Right. Right.
dollar of.
Yeah.
Now I live in Olivet, Agri-Hood,
Mm-hmm.
and in our community,
Mm-hmm.
all of the homes have to have a HERS score of 55
Oh, wow.
and are required geothermal.
Okay.
So
So who's requiring it? Is it the city
it's
or
the
county?
developers. It's the developers. The HOA association has created that
Oh,
requirement.
wow.
So when you do an architectural review, you have to
Uh-huh.
include that.
Uh-huh. Wow. How about then renovation projects? The investors that like investors, flippers maybe, would they do anything in terms of
Some
making green?
some do.
Mhm.
Again, so that's been one of my niches, and I've worked with so many people, and we have a really good group of investors
Mhm.
association here,
Mhm.
and the ones that hold their houses for rentals,
Yeah.
they really, and I teach a class every year to them
Mhm.
about, what can they do to make that house more energy efficient for their client,
Right.
for the tenant,
Right.
because if it's more energy efficient for the tenant, then it's more affordable for them to live there.
Yeah.
They always want to know, like, if it's time to do an upgrade, what's the best energy efficient
Right.
upgrade can I
Right.
do?
Yeah.
And most of the time I can run the numbers to them, and as an investor who's holding a house for a long time, and
Mhm.
those numbers make a lot of sense
Mhm.
because it works for them. As if their tenants are not paying as much on electricity, it's
Mhm.
warmer and more comfortable,
Mhm.
then over the years they can continue to raise the rents.
Right.
So the
Right.
numbers make sense on that for them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then on the rehab projects,
Mhm.
most certainly we have there's certain things that they're going to do
Mhm.
anyway.
Mhm.
In our area,
Mhm.
Energy Star appliances are expected.
Yeah.
It just, bottom line, you don't get almost everything is Energy
Right.
Star anymore,
Right.
but it's expected.
Right.
And so if you're going to upgrade, that's what you upgrade with.
Right.
Um, Also, the improvement of windows
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
is a biggie.
Mhm.
If lots some flippers will hire me as a consultant to
Mhm.
come in and make recommendations of which things I think would be the most important to give
Mhm.
value.
Right.
And I will often, it depends case by case of where they
Mhm.
are and all.
Mhm.
But we have really pushed in our area in Western North Carolina. We're moderate climate, so we have about equal hot days as cold days.
Oh, wow.
So we use most of the time for like an investor, they're going to do a total electric heat pump.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and we discussed that
Mhm.
about the value of that for
Mhm.
them,
Mhm.
because we have a lot of the older houses still had oil heat,
Right.
you know. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that for the most part in our area, with the rehabs, they try to at least do the extra installation and just really pay attention to weather stripping, sealing.
Right.
And that's, that's, if they can do that, I'm happy.
Yeah. And do you see a lot of electrification happening in a lot of the newer renovation projects?
Uh, I think it varies. It
Yeah,
depends. It really depends on the location
I see. I
around
see.
here. Uh, we're very different than, I mean, than a lot of places. We don't have very many subdivisions.
I see.
We might have gated communities, but
Right.
not little subdivisions.
Right.
And zoning wasn't required for many, many years. So it's sort of hodgepodge. So you have to take all that in consideration when you're rehabbing,
I see.
because it's really important on the dollar value.
Sure. Sure. So how about the real estate agents now in your area? I mean, how open or receptive to this idea of green homes are they? Do you have a lot of green agents in your area?
So they're very receptive.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of agents who will show up to the classes.
Mm-hmm.
We had this core group that did get their NAR Green certification.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see as many of the newer agents coming on getting their NAR Green, because we have had 3 different local certifications, and I think that they go for that more, which
Right.
it means, we do have maybe 10, 12 that specialize, that really niche in the green. Almost all of them are aware of the Greenbelt certification program because it's so prevalent here, but they still are not aware of how to complete that appropriately on the MLS.
I see.
So we have a lot of education to do with them. They want to do it right, but
Yes. I don't know if I told you, but I have a very first Pearl certified home to list.
I'm excited for you.
I know, thank you. So it's very helpful that Pearl certification is very involved. So they are providing a lot of support and marketing. But what would you recommend me, or how would you advise me to get this listing sold with the higher value? This is a very exciting project for me because it's, unlike many of the LA markets, this is not in the high end market. It's very middle class, very, very usual, common looking house that this couple really took it apart and did it completely DIY. But it took them 4 years to get, they took it down to studs, and they packed the insulation in, and then they have the air filtration system. They have uh, solar panel. Obviously, it's all, they electrified the whole house. What is your advice for me?
Well, it sounds like it probably is going to go pretty fast anyway. But I would even though it's going to go fast, take advantage of like the different sections and points in the Pearl certification that are identified.
Yes.
Take pictures of those items, do a quick short video, like, hey, did you know? And that value of that.
Yeah.
Have enough that you got it, that you're going to do something on social media every day for just like a 30-second, tease there, and then put it all together in a YouTube. you
Wow.
know.
Yes.
So that, and then just be sure that you, use your hashtags appropriately to get that out there.
Mhm.
And then if you, I don't know how close it is to you, but I don't know if you've been watching my Facebook,
Some of
but
them, yes.
I videotape the house that's being built next door to me through
Right.
my
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I
through my
saw.
bathroom window, So I make it fun, it's like, I really want you to be my neighbor. And then, somebody go, I don't know, you're videoing through your bathroom window. So do something that's sort of fun, drive
Yeah.
by it and do
Yeah.
so, because that gets a lot of people's attention, to have
Yeah.
some fun with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
have to keep you posted.
You will, yeah.
Yeah.
And shoot that, that's a really good thing to do. Like, keep me posted, throw it up on my Facebook, because this is something I might have somebody from North Carolina moving out there.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Uh-huh. I'm definitely gonna post on the Facebook page so you guys can all see it.
excellent, excellent.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, it's just so this you're full of really valuable information and knowledge and wisdom. I'm so grateful that you were willing to do this with me, and I am really excited to have you. So, how could people find you? What would be the best way to contact you if anybody wants to contact you in North Carolina?
Thank you. So the best way is to go to my website,
Mhm.
lovethegreen.org, and then all my social media, emails, and phone numbers are all there. So
Okay.
lovethegreen.org.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Mary. And this is Izumi Tanaka again, Home Green Homes, and I would see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.